One more thing. Whenever I get questions at the client, a lot of times it is about performance of dashboards. And to show you that, I'm going to quickly connect to the Superstores dataset again. So I'm going Microsoft Excel, sample Superstore. And I will start with the orders. A lot of reporting, a lot of companies is on the monthly level, while as a lot of data at the same moment in time is at the transactional level. Although as an analyst, you sometimes want to have the freedom and you want to retain the most granular data when working with Tableau Desktop. When it comes to performance, sometimes it is better to aggregate your data first before making a report on it. Tableau will be performant up to millions and millions of rows, but the moment it becomes very complex, you might consider aggregating your data and then visualizing it. What do I mean? So I'm again connected to my orders file. I'm going to prove it. Here's the data again. Now imagine that I don't need to have all the order information, but that for the report that I am building, I only need the year, the month, and let's say the subcategory of my products. Then I can make use of a feature we haven't discussed today yet, and it's called the aggregate function. Now, what does that do? Those of you familiar with Tableau Desktop, it comes pretty close to actually doing some sort of LOD, doing a group by for others. So if I click on aggregate and I said we want to group the information based on shipping year. Ooh, very interesting. I don't have that. Let's go back and let's make it. So I'm going back and this is nice. One of the new features is that you can convert it to date and time, but I'm going to create a calculated field. I'm going to call it year shipping date. You can extract the year value out of the shipping date simply by typing year shipping date. I click OK, and I have that. I also need the month, so I will create a calculate field, year shipping date. A month shipping date, sorry, like this. And then I'm ready to do my aggregation, because now what we need to define here is on which fields do I want to group and on which fields do I want to aggregate. So I just told you that I want to do that on the year of the shipping date, which I prefer to be a string because otherwise we have this dot together with. Please notice that I tend to use the search icon because in reality, you will end up with data sets with maybe hundreds of columns. You don't want to spend your time scrolling. So if I know that I have a month value somewhere, just type in MO, grab the field and add it on there. You nicely already get a preview of what you're constituting. So then, last but not least, I want to have my sales as an aggregated field. So literally what we're doing, we are aggregating on the year, month basis. I don't only want to have the sales, I also want to have my profit. So from the left, I take profit and I drag it into my aggregated fields. There's probably some other field I want. Let's say that I want to, no, I'm good to go. Sales and profit. I'm adding a clean step to preview my data and look at that. I now have an aggregation of year and month, but I said subcategory as well. So we go back, add subcategory to it, drag and drop it in. As you see, Tableau on the spot recalculates it. Now, why are we doing this? If you could, of course, go into Tableau and start analyzing this, and you have 10K of rows. But now I only have 800 rows. This is a reduction by more than 10. If it comes down to performance, you will probably at least double your speed working with big data sets. So I'm now ready to go to analyze this in Tableau, making only use of a fraction of the rows I would have normally loaded. Good. Next thing is maybe a little bit more complex, but imagine that, okay, let's just go to Tableau. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to preview it in Tableau Desktop. And it should open up. And there it is. All right, so you want to drag on your year. You want to have your sales. You want to see the part that the subcategories have in those sales. And then you could perform a percent of total along the columns. This is for those who are familiar with Tableau. I have relatively quickly, it's not a good graph, but you get the sake of it. I can see that in 2014, 16% of my sales were generated by chairs, for example. Now, the thing which is being calculated here is a table calculation, which requires resources from Tableau. You might come in situations where you want to pre-calculate these kind of things. So what you potentially could do is calculate the yearly totals for the year and join them in before writing them to your server. What does that mean? So, okay, I'm gonna add a cleaning step here, sorry, like this. And I'm going to calculate the yearly totals by the aggregate function. I drag in year. I drag in my sales. And I'm going to show you, I have now made a little in-between table, which has the year totals. Let me quickly set this to string like this. And yeah, okay, maybe we can round it to a whole. It doesn't make much sense, the numbers after the comma. Now, how can I now calculate the percentage up front? Okay, I want to do it on the monthly level, so let me add month as well. So there you go. Now what I can do is take the output and join it back in. And the key will be the month of the shipping dates and the year of the shipping date. All right, let me now give things a meaningful name and remove fields if we don't need them. So this is a duplicate, so I'm going to remove it. This is a duplicate, so I'm going to remove this one as well. But this is the interesting one because this is the total sales for each month in that specific year. So I'm going to call it total sales. And now I am capable of actual, let me quickly double check. Now I am capable of calculating the percentages on the row level before going to Tableau, which would be as easy as doing sales divided by total sales. And I will call this percentage of sales. And of course, I could multiply it by 100 to put it to a percentage. So let me go back, put it between brackets. All right, and now we nicely have the share of the subcategories for each month. And you can just drag in the percentage field and you don't need to let Tableau Desktop calculate it for you. And of course, we can write it through the server.